He joked he'd marry the ugliest, the four-armed laughed want my daughter, beat me first. HFY Hub score 8.9 out of 10. I was honestly just trying to ignore the absolute mountain of date entry forms my boss dumped on my desk this morning when I clicked on this story, and my jaw literally dropped open like 3 minutes in. The hook here is wild. Jack makes this dumb, depressed joke about marrying the ugliest girl in a bar, and suddenly a massive four-armed gladiator challenges him to a death match for his daughter's hand. It goes from what I thought was going to be a standard dumb sci-fi bar brawl setup right into this insanely heavy emotional story about trauma, and I gripped my cheap plastic mouse so hard it squeaked when Jack actually jumped in front of a sniper bullet just to save the guy who was actively trying to kill him. Absolute madness. The vibe is incredibly raw, hitting all those deep emotional notes about guilt and choosing kindness when the whole universe expects you to be violent. The characters are what really hooked me, especially Lyra and how she interacts with Jack after the fight. It heavily reminded me of this time a few years ago when there was this terrified, half-feral calico cat living in my apartment building's parking garage. I just spent weeks leaving food out, sitting on the cold concrete, not moving a single muscle, just waiting for her to finally realize I wasn't going to hurt her. Jack does the exact same thing here with Lyra, taking a bullet just so she doesn't have to watch her terrible father die, proving to her that he's safe and sitting through the ugly, messy process of earning her trust while she expects the worst. It takes patience, real patience. I highly recommend this one if you're into gritty, character-driven sci-fi where the real victory isn't beating the bad guy into a pulp, but actually just learning how to heal from your own baggage. It felt a lot like watching a massive corporate restructuring where the toxic CEO finally steps down. But instead of getting a measly severance package, you get a beautiful found family romance on a cargo ship heading into hyperspace. Go listen to it right now. Number 1, Accessibility Barrier, 9 out of 10. I had no trouble getting into this universe because Gratis 9 just feels like the absolute worst warehouse job I've ever had, but with more explosions and way worse air quality. I didn't need a massive lore book to understand how miserable these people were. Number 2, Character Cred, 10 out of 10. I loved Jack and Lyra so much. I think having a main character whose main motivation is just overwhelming guilt from his past mistakes makes him feel incredibly real to me. Lyra's tough exterior hiding all that pain was just perfectly written. Number 3, Closure Status, 10 out of 10. I was so relieved when they actually got on that transport ship together at the end. I hate when stories leave things hanging, so watching them leave that terrible moon behind gave me the exact closure I needed. Number 4, Dialogue Drip, 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed the conversations in the hospital room. When Jack tells Lyra that kindness is harder than victory because you have to keep choosing it every day, I legit had to pause the video and just think about that for a minute. Number 5, Endgame Payoff, 10 out of 10. I felt a huge wave of satisfaction when Xander gave Jack the war bracelet before he died. Seeing this giant, broken gladiator finally admit he was wrong and give his daughter permission to be free was an amazing payoff. Number 6, Found Family Factor, 9 out of 10. I am totally here for two broken people deciding to just be broken together. I love how Jack and Lyra slowly build this awkward, messy bond over shared trauma in a dingy medical bay. Number 7, HFY Video Length, 1H+. I listened to this during my entire morning spreadsheet session, and I thought the length was perfect to really let the emotional weight of Xander Wright's abuse and Jack's recovery sink in. It didn't feel rushed at all. Number 8, Logic Coagulation, 8 out of 10. I thought the sniper plot point made total sense. Having a corrupt arena owner try to script the fight for better ratings is exactly the kind of shady corporate garbage I expect from a dystopian mining colony. Number 9, Narrative Gut Punch, 10 out of 10. I felt physically sick when Lyra explained that her father purposely carved her face up just because she lost a junior circuit match. That is so entirely messed up, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Number 10, Packing Pulse, 8 out of 10. I liked how it exploded into this crazy action sequence in the arena and then pumped the brakes to give me all this slow, quiet character development in the hospital. I thought the contrast worked beautifully. Number 11, Possible Sequel, Maybe. I would absolutely listen to a sequel about Jack and Lyra traveling the galaxy and figuring out how to be normal people, but honestly, I'm also totally happy leaving their story right here. Number 12, POV Perspective, 9 out of 10. I really appreciated being stuck in Jack's head for this. Feeling his panic when he sees the sniper's scope glint and knowing exactly why he decides to throw his life away made the whole scene incredibly tense for me. Number 13, The Human Edge, 10 out of 10. I love that Jack's big humanity yeah moment wasn't him punching an alien into orbit, but him showing radical, insane empathy. Taking a bullet for your enemy just to spare his daughter from trauma is the most badass human thing ever. Number 14, The Onion Factor Tearjerker score, 9 out of 10. I was definitely wiping my eyes when Xander told Jack to teach her while they were both bleeding out in the sand. That whole scene was just completely loaded with tragedy and hope. Number 15, Thematic Resonance, 10 out of 10. I think the message about surviving being harder than fighting really resonated with me. It's so true that carrying the weight of your choices is the hardest part of living, and I loved how the story tackled that. Number 16, Trope Remix score, 9 out of 10. I've seen the fight the dad to marry the daughter thing a million times, but I thought turning it into a rescue mission where the challenger saves the dad from assassination was a brilliant twist. Number 17, Visual Bang Per Buck, 8 out of 10. I could picture the rusty, terrible arena so clearly in my head. When Xander was swinging all four of his arms at Jack while the crowd went nuts, I felt like I was sitting right there in the stands. Number 18, Wholesomeness/Cozy rating, 6 out of 10. I definitely wouldn't call the beginning cozy since it's full of terrible space whiskey and child abuse, but I thought the ending with them holding hands on the cargo ship was weirdly sweet. Number 19, World Building Vibe Check, 8 out of 10. I felt the grime of Gratis 9 in my bones. The constant distant explosions of the mining charges rattling the bar glasses was a really cool atmospheric detail that I absolutely loved. Number 20, Xeno-Biology Integration, 7 out of 10. I thought the four-armed gladiator mechanics were cool during the fight, even if the aliens basically just acted like big, strong humans. It gave the combat a really terrifying edge. HFY Hub score, 8.9 out of 10. Hope see you at the next HFY Hub video review.